Good evening from London, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. It's Monday, and on a Monday, you know what we do. We open the mail and answer the questions which you guys have asked us. It's going to be a fun one. And you know what I say, for a fun show, we need a fun panel. And let's kick things off with the co-host, Clark Taylor. How are you today, Clark?
What's going on, Ben? I'm stoked to be here. Always love Mailbag Monday. I'm excited. Let's talk about it. Let's get into the mail. Blues Clues reference. Absolutely. We've got mail. We got a letter.
We got a letter. Indeed, we do. Also joining us today, we have Ignacio. How are you, Ignacio?
Pretty good. Back in Houston, ready to book the Money in the Bank card, and back here with Stitch. She's gonna help me. She's gonna help me book the card today.
Yes.
Right there, so.
Hey, Cat Squad, cats all day long.
Reliable sidekick.
Clark is a cat hater. Like you just admitted.
No, actually, I just complimented that one in particular. I like Stitch.
Oh, I didn't.
It's a good name.
Never mind.
I said it was a reliable sidekick.
Pre-show, I thought it was sarcasm. Pre-show, Clark was insulting cats, right?
Well, I'm just saying they are plotting to kill you at all times.
Well, you hate Cody Rhodes, you hate cats. Maybe you just hate anything which begins with a C. But talking about things. That's me. That's true. That's true. You've completely thrown that off. I had a perfect transition. Talking about things that begin with a C. So he is back from not Money in the Bank. That's what we're talking about today. Clash at the Castle. But Soul, how do you feel about the man whose name begins with a C, CM Punk, after he screwed your guy?
Yeah, cool. Money in the Bank. That's cool. Let's talk about it.
Moving swiftly on then, eh?
Yep. As you see, literally, I'm half-assed. Well, not putting my all into 50-50 this. My suit is in a suitcase. I was using it for an indie show yesterday. Yesterday. God, all the days are all mixed up. So I'm literally still in there. I've just came home, threw my stuff on. I'm taking a lazy day today, if you can't tell.
Fair enough.
Respect.
Recovering from the heartache.
I hate that guy. I hate him so goddamn much. I hate him. Comes out in a bloody Celtic top 2 on the pros conference, the cheeky git. God's sake. If people know, if you're from Scotland, you know why half of you know why that's good and half of you know why that's bad. But God, yeah, just get on with it. Don't get me, because I can't go all out. I'm sure Chaos will have me on the take it, the cheeky son of a. He was goddamn laughing in the group chat. Yeah. Anything to help him cope with his receding bloody hairline.
Shots fired, eh? Shots fired. That's how you start a show. Anyway, enough about Mr. CM Punk. Enough about Clash at the Castle. Let's not look back. Let's look forward. And let's look forward to talk about Money in the Bank. I botched it in the intro. I said that's what happened this past week. No, it didn't. It's what's happening next month. Early next month too, right? We've not got that much time to build for this pay-per-view, but Money in the Bank, it's always one of the most fun pay-per-views of the year, and this year looks to be no different. Now, I thought it might be a little bit of fun for us all to predict the Money in the Card match card. The Money in the Bank card here today. There's too many words. Clash in the Castle, Money in the Bank, WWE.
Should I take over, mate? Do you need me to take over?
Backlash, name simple as that, right? WrestleMania, Backlash, SummerSlam. What's next? The Slam in the Summer in the Outback or something like that. Like it could well be. But I'll break down what I think will be the card for Money in the Bank. Firstly, I don't think Cody Rhodes will be defending his championship. but I do think he will be in action because I think he'll be teaming with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton to take on Solo Sikoa and his bloodline. Then I reckon Damian Priest will be defending his world championship against Braun Strowman before, I reckon, in the Money in the Bank, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, I reckon Jey Uso will take on Ilya Dragunov, who will take on Braun Breaker, Santos Escobar, Andrade, and Carmelo Hayes. But then for the US title match, I reckon we're going to have Logan Paul versus LA Knight for the United States Championship. And then for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, I reckon we'll have Io Sky versus Kiana James versus Zelina Vega versus Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. So there's going to be maybe a bit of tension there. Versus Tiffany Stratton. It could well be Tiffy time. It could well be her time to win, but to become Miss Money in the Bank. But the rule I've set here, guys, is we're only allowed to do 5 matches because that's what WWE have done every pay-per-view since WrestleMania, and they did it at Elimination Chamber 2. So that is what we will stick with. But, Clark, I'm going to go to you first. What is your predicted card for Money in the Bank?
So for the women's Money in the Bank, I've got Tiffany Stratton, I've got Lyra Valkyria, I've got Io Sky, I've got Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi. In that one, in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, I've got Jey Uso, I've got Braun Breaker, I've got Gunther, I've got Ludwig Kaiser, I've got Randy Orton, and I've got Carmelo Hayes. And then, is that 6? Am I short one? I'm sorry, I'm going through my notes. I believe that was 6.
You said 6?
I think I said 6. Okay, good. Then I am good on that. Women's world title match. I've got Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega. Why not?
Oh,
I would love to see that, and it'd be fun on the mic. And Zelina, I think, as underutilized as anybody, can hold up great against Liv. I think it'd be a fun match. United States title match. I've got the exact same one as you, Logan Paul and LA Knight. And then, and so that would be 4 matches. So this being my 5th main event of the evening, I'm going Cody Rhodes against the Bloodline again, Solo Sikoa. That's going to be my main event for Money in the Bank.
One-on-one?
I think one-on-one with some shenanigans, maybe a dusty finish, as we like to call it.
No, I think that is a great card for sure. Because of the tease they had with Orton and Owens at the end of the pay-per-view, I just don't know if I can see it happening one-on-one.
Yeah, maybe Fatal 4-Way. Be interesting.
Oh, I didn't even think about it like that, but that could be interesting.
It could be really interesting.
Maybe it'll be a multi-man.
Yeah.
We got Gene Giuliani saying, how do you feel about Cody Rhodes winning the title at Clash at the Castle? I mean, it was obvious he was going to, retain that belt. No way is he losing it anytime soon until maybe he does face Solo Sikoa in a 1v1 match. But up next, Ignacio, I'm going to go to you. What do you reckon the card will be for Money in the Bank?
Whew. I got for the men's Money in the Bank, I got LA Knight. I got Jey Uso, I got Ludwig Kaiser, Chad Gable, Logan Paul. And if it were me, first of all, I'm not too big on the Money in the Bank ladder matches anyway, or the Money in the Bank concept to begin with, but I'll get away from that because I'll go off on too much of a rant. But I would throw somebody from NXT in there just to showcase the talent they have there. And if I was going to throw somebody from NXT in there, it would be somebody who could go directly up to the main roster and make an impact. And I would say I would put Ethan Page in there just to kind of mix it up a little bit. Female or ladies Money in the Bank. Io Sky, Tiffany Stratton, Jade and Bianca, are they on Raw or SmackDown?
They're on SmackDown, but yeah, they're just on SmackDown now, yeah.
Okay. I would put Zelina Vega in there. I would put Zelina Vega in there. I would put Io Sky. I would put Tiffany Stratton. Jade. I want to throw Chelsea. I want to say they should throw Chelsea Green in there. I'm hoping to see in there. This is me trying to like. I know we're supposed to predict the card, but this is more like me the way I would book it. But Io Sky's on Raw. Zelina Vega's on Raw. Tiffany Stratton's on SmackDown. Jade is on SmackDown. So we got 2 and 2 for SmackDown. Chelsea Green's on SmackDown. So we had 3 for SmackDown. So 1 more for Raw. I would put what's her name, Lyra Valkyria.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and I think my prediction first for the men, I think if Chad Gable's going to be in there, it should be Chad Gable to win the Money in the Bank if he's in there. And on the ladies, I think it should be Tiffany Stratton. For the men's, I think it's going to be Damian Priest and Braun Strowman. Who said that?
Nice.
Was it you?
I went with that. Yeah, I went with that.
Yeah, I think they're working their way that way. I was thinking before you mentioned that also. I was thinking it would probably be Damian Priest and Finn Balor because they were working on a split with the Judgment Day. But I think Money in the Bank's too soon for that. Maybe a SummerSlam Survivor Series, whatever. Yeah, man, I think Bayley. I don't think Bayley's going to defend her title in this one, but I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes. I think it's going to be Cody. I think it's going to be Cody Rhodes and Orton against 2 members of the Bloodline. And I don't think Solo's going to be involved. Like it's going to be like Cody and Randy against the GOD. And I'd like to see, because I'm thinking they're going to do Cody and Solo at SummerSlam. I was thinking that before, but I would like to see Cody and Orton take on the GOD to create some tension, some kind of tension between Cody and Randy so that we can get that match at SummerSlam. Cody and Randy. That's 3, right? Or 4 matches?
4 now. Yeah, you've done 4, I believe.
Okay. So if we're gonna get a women's match in there, it's got to be a title match. So I'm thinking maybe Liv Morgan and Liv Morgan and I already put Lyra in the Money in the Bank. And what are some good contenders out there?
I mean, for the women's, they've not really set up anything, have they?
I went Zelina Vega out of left field. That was my most
you
need pick to with my heart now. Pick.
Stop watching the 80s.
That was my most pick with my heart pick by far.
Well, it's because they haven't set up anything. I'm stumped. I'll come back to that one later on. But I mean, I think Liv's going to defend her title. Yeah, sorry, they don't have anything set up for her. They're just waiting for Rhea Ripley to come back. And that's about it. I think your main event's going to be the Cody and Randy versus the GOD match.
Oh, no, that is a great main event. That is for sure. I mean, if you are going to give me one name to face Liv Morgan, just throw a name out there.
Christ.
10 minutes later.
I think it'd be Lyra Valkyria. I know I put her in the Money in the Bank, but I think it'd probably be her now that
maybe she works twice. She's a last-minute entrant into the Money in the Bank. I like it.
Do you want to replace her in the Money in the Bank, or do you want her to just work twice?
Send her out for a Bret Hart night.
Nah, it's not going to work twice, but I just don't know who else.
You got the pencil, Ignacio. Why not? This is your world.
Y'all need to study more.
We all know Lyra can go. Just take Zelina.
You complain about
we can share Zelina as the pick. Let's get behind that.
All right, Lyra works twice. Just throw it to Soul.
What about you then, Soul? How do you reckon Money in the Bank's going to play out?
Where's my slip of paper? There's my wallet, my pen, it's cans. I'm
so sorry, audio listeners.
Enjoy it. All right, I actually had a kickoff match because I was trying to be a bit cheeky. Based on what I saw on SmackDown, I've got DIY versus Grayson Waller and Austin Theory for the tag titles as a kickoff match. It builds on what was built on SmackDown. The actual card, though, I actually have Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega. Clark, good pick there. I think that'll be a good one to help build up Liv's reign. I think Cody's going to defend on every pay-per-view this year. So I've got Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. I think he'll give it to Kevin Owens as a little thing for helping him, obviously, at Clash with defending against the Bloodline. I think the Bloodline thing will be a Raw match. But I think after that, I think Randy Orton's going to be on KO's side. He'll turn and RKO Cody, building up to SummerSlam with them. Then I have Sami Zayn versus Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. I actually might possibly, because it seems like we're done with Chad Gable and Sami by what happened at Clash. So what if Liv Morgan screws Sami Zayn and allowing Dominic Mysterio to become the Intercontinental Champion? You know, it's a little, hey, boyfriend, girlfriend, both have titles now. And he's like, well, I didn't ask for your help. And she's just all weird and psychotic and leaves a hotel key card. You know how it is. Money in the Bank matches. I'll do the women's first. Women's, I have Tiffany Stratton, Michin, Laya Valkyria, Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, and a returning Charlotte Flair in the women's Money in the Bank match. And I think Tiffany Stratton will win the Money in the Bank briefcase for the women's. Now the men's, I have Carmelo Hayes, Finn Balor, Santos Escobar, Andrade, Braun Breaker, and my boy Drew McIntyre. But this pains me to say it. Drew is going to get up that ladder. He's going to grab that briefcase. A man in a hoodie is going to push that ladder over, because CM Punk will cost Drew the Money in the Bank briefcase. And honestly, I would have Punk win it. I would have Punk win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Just to egg on and hate on Drew. Every chance Drew possibly gets for a title, Punk just comes out with a briefcase that's got Mindy's Bakery stickers on it and Larry the Dog, just to really rub it in and know every chance you get for a title, no matter what, if it's Cody or it's Damian again, heck, you even go down to NXT, I'm always going to be in your corner watching you and screwing your moment.
Oh, I mean, that is just heartbreak again. I mean, it almost would be too predictable, but I actually think so. You could be bang on. I reckon that could well be the direction they go in. It wouldn't surprise me at all, even if it is, slightly obvious. But I mean, yeah, there we have it, guys. We have our Money in the Bank cards. We've all pretty much disagreed on it, all quite substantially. And I'll post to the Instagram, and we'll see what the Instagram thinks, eh?
You have to include CM Punk as a little emoticon, just saying he'll interrupt and win it. Please just do that, because I think that'd be hilarious.
Special appearance by CM Punk.
Oh gosh, we got TL3118 saying Stratton would be perfect for the briefcase, but for the men's, they don't have an idea in the slightest. But they do want Cody versus Randy at Survivor Series, with Cody versus Solo first at SummerSlam, which I do agree with you on completely there. We have a couple of comments over on YouTube, with David March saying that the Money in the Bank qualifying matches are going to be good. They absolutely are. And he's also saying that AJ Styles is going to wrestle in New Japan. He is not, but it is going to be in Japan. It is going to be in Pro Wrestling Noah, but that one will be a lot of fun. And we will be talking about it in just a little bit. But before we do that, Clark, I am going to have to ask you the next question, right? Because the next question is submitted. He's submitted by, again, he always does this, always close my notes, got him here, by Jack Bailey 803, saying, what is the ideal move for Otis? We're opening the mail. First piece of it, Clark, what is your ideal booking for Mr. Otis?
I think the key for Otis here is to unlearn some of the bad habits here at the end with the Alpha Academy and be who Otis is and be entertaining and start whooping some butt again and have a rivalry with Gable. Whether he goes over or not, I don't know if it matters, but bring back the charisma, bring back the thing that was so infectious about Otis at a time when realistically it was derailed by the fact that we lost the crowds, because when there were crowds, he was only on the upswing, right? And let's bring back the Otis that is who Otis really is. If you follow him on social media, the guy is as charismatic as could be. He's funny. He loves life. He's just happy-go-lucky as could be. and it fits his character. It works. And so go back to that, have a rivalry with Gable. Maybe he doesn't go over. Maybe it's Gable's stepping stone in the meantime, but it reestablishes Otis as a single star and give him a singles run. And that's where I'm at. And I don't mind him staying with Maxine Dupree, staying aligned with Maxine Dupree. I have no issue with that. But that's the direction that I personally would go if it was my choice, because I'm a huge fan of Otis's work. And I think he really got messed around during that pandemic era, winning the Money in the Bank and having to basically give it up to The Miz.
That was rubbish. You are right there. That did suck, but I do like what you're saying. Keep him with Maxine. We knew, he was phenomenal with Mandy Rose. He's brilliant, when he's has somebody by his side. And I think that could work really well. It could be very fun. And yeah, hey, maybe we could be getting Otis versus, let's say Braun Breaker defeats Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. Something we'll be talking about a bit later on today, the possibility of it happening. Well, then, Braun Breaker versus Otis. That is an Intercontinental Championship match, and one that I would quite like to see. At Coolish Mail on Instagram is saying, I feel like you're forgetting about the Yeet Master. I think in response to our Money in the Bank booking, nobody's forgetting our Jey Uso and Yeet
I
time.
had him in my men's Money in the Bank.
So did I.
Yeah.
But listen, that's not all you shouldn't forget about, guys, because you also shouldn't forget about our good friends over at Next Level. Now, if you guys don't know who Next Level are, let me inform you. They've basically taken all our social media links and they've chucked them all in one place. And that one place is nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic to see all our content across all platforms, linked all in one place. They've got an app as well. The app is free and there's a thriving wrestling community on there. So, hey, it's a no-brainer, guys. And again, it's completely and utterly free. Once again, nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic. But now let's go straight back into the mailbag. Let's see what questions we have submitted. And the next one is submitted by at HAR_WWE. And they are saying, will WWE ever introduce a new mid-card title? Now, guys, you know my opinions on mid-card championships. There's too many of them in wrestling. I do not want to see another one unless it's a women's one because, listen, if the men have it, the women should too. That's my philosophy. That's my opinion on anything wrestling related. And I will stand by. I will fight for it because women's wrestling, well, they've proved why they are that good, right? But mid-card titles in general, I dislike. I do. Unless they have a stipulation, I dislike them. So no, they should not introduce any more mid-card titles. AEW should throw all of theirs in the trash. And yeah, let's just get rid of mid-card titles because they make absolutely zero sense. But Soul, you're a belt collector. You're a fan of belts. Do you think there should be any more introduced? Diet Coke, not Pepsi. Interesting note.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to diet myself because I can't fit into my suit anymore after this weekend. Here's the thing, right? I absolutely do agree about the women's mid-card championships. We've seen it introduced with NXT with their women's North America's championships. Another gripe of mine, I don't like women belts just being female versions of the men's belt. I like to have them have their own identity and their own prestige to them and just their own design in general instead of just being slapped on a white strap. Nonetheless, I think with WWE especially and AEW, they do have too many belts. If you were to ask me, to cut to make way for this new mid-card championship for the women, because that's what I think they should introduce, keep the top two for the men, top two for the women. Keep the IC in the United States. They've got lineage and history with them, and it's been a long road for the company. Get rid of one of the tag belts. Honestly, I would get rid of the ones that Austin Truth have because they haven't really been done much with. I like the design of the ones Fury and Waller have, and they're in a feud with DIY, so they actually have a story built around them, and they harken back to the classic days. If you're gonna keep them around, keep the women's tag belts, but if not, just chuck them in the bin where they rightfully deserve because they have been absolutely horrendous with their booking. as we just seen with Jay Cargill and Bianca Belair dropping it to the Unholy Union. Where does it go with the Unholy Union? It's going to be Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks. Is this now the New Day and Usos, where that's the only thing that's built around this tag team division for the next 10 years? Cool. I'm just fed up with it. Yeah, I mean, if anything, a women's mid-card title is the proper thing to introduce. Maybe shuffle some belts to NXT. I don't know. There's obviously the speed belt, which exists in its own plane of existence. Cool.
Only on Twitter.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I just don't know where you go with it. I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, thing to come out of all this is just chuck some of the tag belts, because you don't need 2 tag team championships. Why not make like what they did back in the day, where one brand is exclusively, you know, for the tag team wrestling of the men, one for the women, or something like that, just to give each brand their own identity. When you have 2 men tag belts on 2 brands, you're just getting the same thing. Make it a bit unique. I mean, yeah, I'm just basically saying chuck the women's tag belts, chuck a men tag belt, introduce a mid-card championship for the women, or 2 if you want to be copying like the men. I mean, yeah. Boom.
It sounds like you're sick of belts. Like you don't want any more. I understand it.
Mate, you should have seen it. You should have seen it at Clash Store. They were selling that World Heavyweight Championship for 545 quid. I was like, you know what?
Nice
I might get that if Drew wins. Thank God I didn't now. Good God, I would have been out of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, good thing you didn't buy it beforehand. That is for sure. But listen, I now want to bring you in, Ignacio, right? Because we've had some news in the last few days, and the news is that the Forbidden Door is opening. WWE have decided that they are going to open the Forbidden Door, and they're going to let AJ Styles go through it. They are letting him wrestle in Pro Wrestling Noah against Marufuji, and they are also letting Io Sky go to Marigold. And of course, I mean, this is something which historically we haven't seen in WWE for a long time, where competitors are allowed to work for, I don't want to say rival promotions, because these are promotions in Japan. But listen, at the end of the day, they're companies which aren't WWE. And that is something we haven't seen in quite some time. But how do you feel about AJ Styles going over to Pro Wrestling Noah? And do you think WWE are making the right decision?
Muted.
You're muted, Ignacio.
Hate it.
The mute curse has hit you again.
I was saying, I hate that term Forbidden Door. Hate it. It's just so indie and
the unavailable avenue. That's what I've been calling it.
How forbidden is the Forbidden Door if they're letting everybody through now? You know? Anyway.
True. Good point.
In this situation with AJ, it might be something he wants to do because he's on his way out. And if he wants to go to Japan, I think he's earned the right to go out the way he wants to go out, and that's going to Japan to wrestle with Noah or in All Japan or wherever AEW doesn't have a relationship with or whatever. Then he should be allowed to do it. If he wants to go back to TNA, he should go back to TNA. And I think WWE, obviously Triple H is more open, and Endeavor might be encouraging them to work with other promotions if it benefits them, because they get people like Jordan Grace on the show on NXT, and they can potentially make her way to WWE one day full time. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a good thing to have relationships with these outside companies. It doesn't hurt WWE any, because they don't need them. The WWE doesn't need TNA, and they don't need Japan, and they don't need these companies. They can survive on their own. They have all that talent in NXT and the Performance Center and the NIL program. So if anything's benefiting more than most from these relationships, it's going to be the other promotions, TNA and Noah and whoever they want to work with. But I think it's a good thing. It builds an avenue for talent who might be interested in coming to WWE one day from Japan. If they don't want to go to AEW, if those relationships are being soured. So yeah, I think it's always a good thing. And I think if AJ wants to go out finishing his career working in Japan, working in TNA, and finishing that way. I think he should be encouraged to, and I think he deserves it to go out the way he wants to go. Because I don't foresee him being in and around the main event picture anymore. I think this run he had with Cody was probably his last hurrah around the main event picture. So if he's not going to be figure into any major storylines, then just let him go the way he wants to go out.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you, Ignacio. And somebody submitted a very, very similar opinion to the Instagram page today as well. And it is, I do get that feeling. I do get the feeling that, hey, this might be the end of AJ Styles. Maybe he's decided that next year at Mania, he's going to retire. And I mean, it's so sad to see. But at the same time, he's always said he wants to retire fairly young. He's in his 40s now. He's in his mid 40s now. I guess.
I'm sorry. Like, you're not going to see. They're not going to send Orton and Cody and Roman over there. Because of the chance of them.
Yeah, that's true.
But in situations with AJ and somebody who's not going to be figured into a major storyline, I mean, yeah, I can see them sending more of those people over there.
Do you reckon we could see him go to TNA as well?
AJ, yeah. Sure, because I mean, he if you want to use this term, he was a pillar of TNA. He was the face of TNA for a long time. So I mean, they got talent. Oh, WWE probably has their eyes on talent over there. They want to see what they can do with AJ, like Moose and etc. You know what I mean? That's somebody I'd like to see in WWE. So yeah, I could see him going up for a pay-per-view or two.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he said the words "I quit," I thought to myself, he's going straight to TNA, and I was shocked the next morning when the Pro Wrestling Noah thing came out, because I thought TNA would be the first to get him. But yeah, I definitely think he's doing a run across these promotions which WWE have deals with, and I think it's going to be very exciting, and it'll be nice for him to, like you said, to go out the way he wants to go out if this is the end. But I mean, listen, we'll talk about his career more if that is the way it goes. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. There might not be a Wrestling Republic if it wasn't for AJ Styles. My love for him as a wrestler was where I started the Instagram page.
No. AJ Styles fan. That's what we started as.
That's how it started.
It was the beginning. But,
I mean, maybe it would have been Rollins fan or something like that. Who knows, right? I mean, imagine if it was a Cody Rhodes fan, Stardust fan, even, Clark.
I mean, think about the inaugural Wrestling Republic Hall of Fame ceremony. AJ's got to go in first.
Oh, yeah.
AJ's got to be the first inductee.
Class.
Yeah. First inductee.
Headline.
100%.
No doubt about it.
I mean, he was the name of the site before the name of the site.
No, it is true. I mean, it's going to be a sad day when he does hang up those boots. I mean, he's 47 to Chris Leclerc's point, but he reckons Dakota Kai is going to be winning Money in the Bank. Maybe it would have been WWE Bayley fan, although I think Bayley was still like in NXT at that point. So I mean, who knows? Maybe
doesn't that exist too? I think. Never mind.
I mean, maybe we've just given somebody a free shout out. Shout out to them if
I think we did.
Fair enough. Go for it. But I mean, anyway, let's now head on to our final question of the day, our final letter, and this letter was submitted via our Instagram stories, not actually via post, by I am Maloney 2181, who is saying, will Braun Breaker beat Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship? It is a great question. Me personally, I could see it happening, but I don't think it should. This guy, Braun Breaker, he should be sent straight to the World Championship scene. He should be the guy to beat Damian Priest or Gunther or whoever's holding that championship, and he should do it either at the Rumble or at Mania, because he should be at least booked to the moon, because Braun Breaker is that guy, pal. But Soul, I'm going to start with you on this one. Do you think Braun Breaker will beat Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship?
So obviously in my predictions for Money in the Bank, I said it would have been Sami Zayn and Dom. Now, if Dom doesn't do the whole lover thing with Liv, she'll cost for Sami to drop it to him, then yeah, absolutely, I can see Breaker being getting that IC title. Next, he's known as the Workhorse title. Excuse me. Allergies to CM Punk. I think especially if Braun was to get that belt, he would basically be doing that what Gunther did, like establishing it as just as important as the world title. So I absolutely could see him doing that. You mentioned turning him to the world title picture, and I don't think that's a bad idea as well. Obviously, my predictions are what I said, but if Punk takes the money in the bank briefcase, imagine this, right? Down the line, Survivor Series, whatever. It's a freeway. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre and Braun Breaker. Reason Braun's in, he's just been causing chaos on Raw to get Adam Pearce to just chuck him in just to calm him down. So it's a triple threat. Matches going on. Punk comes out and he cashes in his money in briefcase, make it a fatal four-way. And all he does is he just low blows Drew and rolls him out and walks away. Because he doesn't care about the championship. He just wants to make Drew's life miserable. That allows Braun Breaker to spear Damian Priest 1, 2, 3, and Braun Breaker's the World Heavyweight Champion. Because enough about Punk, honestly. I can see him being as petty enough to do that. Doesn't care about World Championship. He'll happily give it to somebody else as long as he can make the one person he hates a life is living hell. And Braun Breaker's World Heavyweight Championship, that belt will look absolutely fantastic on him.
Oh,
no doubt in my mind.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you there. We also have Warren Wind over on Instagram in the comments. Shout out to him. Shout out to Warren. But now, Ignacio, I'm going to bring you in. Should Braun Breaker be going for that Intercontinental Championship, or should he be going straight to the main event scene?
Man, this is kind of hard because this one I thought about a lot because it's kind of like with the roster split and all that stuff with Raw and SmackDown, it's kind of like you're going to run out of people to work with, and eventually he's going to have to be in the he's going to have to be programmed in either or scenario, either the world title or the Intercontinental title. And then I was thinking about, and I mentioned this before, that I really don't like this individual professionally, hate him, Goldberg. But I got to give him credit as far as the way Goldberg was booked for what it was. He was booked very well. And this is the thing with him going after the Intercontinental title is if he wins it, well, now you got to get it off of him. And how are you going to get it off of him? And what they did with Gunther was very good, but you got it off of him, and who took it off of him? Sami Zayn, and I was perfectly fine with them, with the way it turned out with Sami Zayn winning the title and all that at WrestleMania and him dethroning Gunther, and it didn't do anything to Gunther's character or anything like that. But for Braun, I just think he's just a little bit different and should be handled a little bit different because he's coming off as this sociopathic kind of no remorse kind of monster. And I think he should be kind of booked kind of the way Goldberg was. And eventually, yes, he's got to lose, but I just think it would mean more and it would be better that if we put him in a couple of programs that lasted 2-3 months, some hot feuds with certain individuals, main event level kind of talent, then maybe we can get him in the world title picture. And when he beats whoever's the champion at the time, Gunther or whoever, then it'll mean even more. And if you give him the Intercontinental title, you got to find a way to take it off of him, or he goes in. This is what I thought they were going to do with Gunther, is have him win the Intercontinental title and then eventually win the world title and be a double champion. And then he's going to have to let one of them go, just like they did with Goldberg. He let go of the U.S. title. But I just think they got to be very careful with somebody like this, like Braun Breaker, because it can make or break him. Because at first he appeared on TV and he wrestled a match or 2 or 3 squash matches, and everybody was saying, "I don't like this. I don't like these. He can't do anything. He's like the next comparing him to Goldberg in the bad way. He's the next Goldberg. He's they're gonna lose the feel for him. Blah blah blah." And he's going to lose the fans quickly, and he was. But then they started putting on TV and letting him do promos, and they started letting him do the things where he was just taking out jobbers, and then the thing with Ricochet and Dragunov, And then they let him do a little bit more in the ring, a slow build. And then he did that Frankensteiner, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's good. Like he can do other new stuff that we didn't think he could do because we just thought he was this big musclehead and not a great athlete." So I think they're doing very good with the build where the fans are starting to get behind him. So again, if you have him chase the Intercontinental title, then you got to take it off of him eventually without really diminishing his character, and then put him in the main title picture, in the world title picture, hopefully not diminishing his character and making him a top contender. So I don't know. I think the best thing to do is put him in 2 or 3 hot programs with top talent that'll last about 6 to 9 months, and then we can see him in the world go for the world title. It might be a little bit too long of a build, but I think at the end it'll benefit more than him just chasing the Intercontinental title for a little bit, winning it, and then they have to find some, logical way, which can be very hard to take it off of him without diminishing his character.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there, and I do fear that maybe Triple H, I think maybe he does like the proper long build up to become a main event star in comparison to Vince, where if he saw somebody, he was like, hey, let's push them to the moon. But I do agree with you. I think they should, push Braun Breaker to the moon. I think he's one of those talents where you just got to make him the guy quite quickly. Like you said, have him in like 2 long programs and then chuck him in the world title scene because he's that good. And this guy can be a top guy for so many years. I don't think he needs that Intercontinental Championship belt. But Clark, what do you think?
Braun Breaker's really interesting to me, and I got to watch a lot of his NXT run at the end, and obviously we understand the Steiner's relationship there, like he's family. I agree with Ignacio on a lot of things, but one that I don't is the only similarity I see to Goldberg is that they both played in the NFL. I see Braun Breaker as a hybrid between Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. That's the way I view Braun Breaker, because his athleticism is off the charts. His wrestling acumen and his history, his resume is Angle-like in that he's a blue chipper from the beginning. Absolutely, you have to expect more than what you did out of Goldberg because of the family history, the generational history with Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner and all that goes into that. The Frankensteiner did not shock me. The speed and athleticism, that's Goldberg-like, but the move set is much closer to an Angle or a Lesnar in my eyes when it comes to Braun Breaker. To answer the actual question itself, if they book him against Sami Zayn, he cuts him in half. Come on, that's obvious. But that's not what's going to happen. Money in the Bank, Braun Breaker's winning that briefcase, and then he's going to chase down and seek and destroy whoever is holding that world title. It does not matter. It does not matter. He's going to be Predator-like, lion-like, not Viper-like, speaking of predators, but lion-like, stalking his prey with that briefcase. And that is the direction I take Braun Breaker, because I think he can restore the greatness of the Money in the Bank briefcase on fear alone. You've got to be afraid of Braun Breaker carrying that briefcase every single night you go out for a world title match, no matter who you are. Because Braun he's nasty. He's that scary. And that's that's what I would like to see. And again, no knock on the Goldberg comparison. I see him as already having a deeper move set and a deeper bag of tricks than Goldberg did. Don't get me wrong. As a kid, Goldberg at his height was fascinating to me, but I definitely see more Angle Lesnar or serious Angle, right? And serious Lesnar. That's what I see in Braun Breaker more than Goldberg.
And don't get me wrong. I hate Goldberg.
I know.
I'm just saying. Not that his moveset was similar to Goldberg. I'm just saying they should kind of book him like Goldberg. The right things they did with Goldberg,
running through people.
Great.
Yeah, undefeated streak wise. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, I agree with that actually, 100%.
Yeah, no, I do as well, Clark. I think that's a great shout from both of you. I really do think he should be booked to the moon, like I keep saying, like Goldberg was. and Money in the Bank. That's one way to do so. I'd love that. I really, really would. So you reckon it'll happen? You reckon they really are going to straight away just push him to the
I
stars?
mean, the way he could stalk people with that briefcase, and it's got to be one of those situations where you end up with like a dent in it too, because he just doesn't even care. And he's just absolutely walking people down and scares them to death until he finally pulls the trigger and wins the title.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, all scratched and all of that from the amount of times on it. He is that guy. Like, Bron Breakker is, like I said, he is that guy. He is the future of WWE. Him and Oba Femi.
Promo wise, he's got the Oba. Oba's the man, but he's got that. Promo wise, he's got a little bit of Scott Steiner in him, which is hilarious to me because obviously he's Rick's son, but like, he's got a little bit of Scott in his promos, and it in the good parts of Scott too, not necessarily the mathematics.
Yeah, he's not exactly running numbers, thankfully for you, Clark. Otherwise, we know how much you hate math. It's going to be another Cody situation. You're going to hate Braun, but
33%, 78% chance.
Anyway, talking about that, I need to run off some numbers quickly because tomorrow the show is the normal time, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And then in the night immediately following NXT, there'll be NXT off the air. And also tomorrow morning, well, we'll have a little bit of Allison analysis discussing whatever happens tonight on Monday Night Raw. It seems like it might just be a great episode. But thank you to everybody who's been on the show today. Thank you to you. So I'm in the wrong position for once. Thank you to you, Clark. Thank you to you, Soul. Sorry you're still depressed about CM Punk. And thank you to Ignacio as well. We will see you guys for the next one.